Picture a table at an estate sale. 3 complete sets of beautiful gold-rimmed china, each priced under $200. And by the end of the day, every single one is still sitting there, unsold. This happens constantly. But here is what makes this story different. That same morning, before the crowds arrived, a quiet dealer walked through the house, and in the back of a dusty cabinet, he found one teacup the family had priced at $3. He paid it without a word, carried it to his car, and later sold that single cup for nearly $2,000. He knew one thing the family never learned: how to read the tiny mark on the bottom. Because hidden in ordinary china cabinets, sitting right next to the worthless sets, there are single plates worth hundreds of dollars, teacups worth thousands, and complete services that have sold for over $100,000 at auction. And one of the marks I am going to show you today is so valuable that a single plate bearing it can be worth more than a car, even though it looks almost identical to a plate worth $5. The valuable pieces never announce themselves. The only difference is a maker, a mark, and a few secrets collectors use to tell them apart in seconds. Secrets they would honestly rather you never learned, so they can keep buying grandma's treasures for the price of a cup of coffee. Today, I am handing you those secrets. 8 pieces that could be hiding in your china cabinet right now, from the teacups to the silver, all the way to the single most valuable of them all. And stay to the end, because the bonus is a name so rare that one piece can sell for the price of a house. So before we go one step further, go find that china cabinet and the silver drawer while you are at it. Pull out the teacups, the plates, the serving dishes, and the flatware, especially the pieces you never actually use. And keep 3 simple tests in your hands as we go. Test 1, turn each piece over and read the backstamp, the little maker's mark underneath, because that mark is the whole difference between a $5 plate and a $500 one. Test 2, the ping test. Run a fingertip around the rim and listen. A clear, ringing note means it is perfect. A dull thud means a hidden crack that destroys the value. And test 3, the light test. Hold a cup or plate up toward a bright lamp, and if it is fine bone china, it will glow. You will actually see the shadow of your fingers through it, because real bone china is translucent and cheap china is not. Keep those 3 tests ready. Tell me in the comments which makers you find, and let us start the countdown at number 8. Number 8, Royal Albert, and specifically Old Country Roses. If you picture grandma's teacups, this is almost certainly what you see: delicate bone china drowning in red, pink, and yellow roses with shining gold trim. It is one of the most produced patterns in the entire world, which is exactly why people wave it off as worthless. And yes, a common cup and saucer might only bring $20 to $40. But here is the secret: completeness and rarity change everything. A full Old Country Roses set with all its serving pieces sells for far more than the sum of its cups, and Royal Albert made rare discontinued patterns like Lady Carlisle that collectors chase hard. So flip it over, confirm the Royal Albert backstamp, then hold it to the light, because if those roses glow through translucent bone china, you are already holding quality. And a fun piece of history: the earliest teacups had no handles at all, because tea came to Europe from China, where cups were simply little bowls. Number 7 hides its entire value in a single secret word stamped on the bottom. Number 7, Noritake. And this one lives or dies on one hidden word almost nobody knows to look for. Noritake is the fine Japanese china that filled millions of American homes after the wars. Elegant, gold-rimmed, genuinely beautiful. There is so much of it that most sets sell for under $200, and common teacups go for a couple dollars each. But flip the piece over and read the backstamp, because here is the secret. If it says the word Nippon, that piece was made before 1921, because Nippon is the old name Japan was required to use. And older Noritake is the valuable Noritake. There is a second clue. An early piece may carry a large letter M inside a wreath, the mark of the Morimura family who founded the company, used right up until the Second World War. The early hand-painted, gold-encrusted pieces are the ones collectors want, and the numbers surprise people. A rare Noritake creamer has sold for around $1,000, and a single punch bowl for nearly $450. Nippon means old, and old means money. Number 6 is the china your family actually used on the holidays, and it is the one everybody prices completely wrong. Number 6, Lenox and Royal Doulton, the holiday china. These are the big respected American and English names, the sets brought out for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and certain patterns stay quietly valuable. Lenox patterns like Holiday and Autumn, and Royal Doulton patterns like Carlisle. But here is the mistake almost every family makes. They price the whole set by the dinner plates. That is backwards. The real money is in the serving pieces, so do this. Physically pull out the biggest, heaviest pieces first. The tureen, the covered vegetable dish, the gravy boat, the chocolate pot. Because these can hold up to a third of the entire set's value all by themselves. So few were made, and so many got broken over the decades, that a single rare serving piece can be worth more than a whole stack of dinner plates. Feel the weight, flip it over, confirm the Lenox or Royal Doulton mark, and match the pattern. Number 5 is not china at all, and it might just be the single most valuable thing in the entire house. Number 5, sterling silver flatware, and this is the one hiding in a completely different drawer. Almost every family inherited a set of silverware saved for special occasions, and most people genuinely have no idea whether it is a small fortune or nearly worthless. Here is how you find out. In 2 seconds. Pick up a fork or spoon and look closely at the back of the handle for one word, sterling, or the number 925. If it is there, you are holding real sterling silver, 92.5% pure silver. If it says silver plate, or has no mark at all, it is a thin coating over cheap metal, worth almost nothing. That one word is the whole game. And feel the weight while you are at it. Real sterling has a dense, substantial heft that plated pieces never do. With silver prices high, a single sterling teaspoon holds $50 or more in pure silver alone, before you even count the pattern, and silver has climbed sharply the last 2 years. So even a plain sterling set has a rising floor of value. Complete services from top makers like Gorham, Georg Jensen, and especially Tiffany sell for thousands. And a Tiffany sterling service has brought over $17,000. So open that drawer tonight and read the back of every handle. Sterling means treasure. Number 4 crosses the ocean, and this is where the price tags start climbing fast. And notice the pattern here, because it is the same every single time. The valuable pieces never announce themselves. They sit in the same cabinet under the same dust, looking exactly like the common ones beside them. The whole game is flipping a piece over and reading what the maker is quietly telling you, and almost nobody bothers to look. From here, we leave the everyday names behind, and the numbers climb into the thousands. Number 4, Wedgwood and Haviland, Limoges. Wedgwood, you will recognize instantly, that famous pale blue with raised white figures, called jasperware, sitting on mantels in half the homes in the country. Most modern jasperware is modest, but genuine antique Wedgwood and rare colors beyond the usual blue climb steeply. Then there is Haviland Limoges, the delicate French porcelain American brides prized for generations, all hand-decorated florals and gold. And here is the tell that works for both, and for nearly every piece in your cabinet, hand-painted beats machine printed every single time. So do this. Tilt the piece under a light and look closely. If you can see tiny brushstrokes and slight variations, and even feel a faint raised texture where the enamel sits on the surface, a human being painted it, and it is worth far more than a smooth, flawless printed transfer. One more tell. Check the gold. Original gilding shows soft, even wear, But if the gold looks suspiciously bright and new, it was likely redone, which lowers the value. Brush strokes mean a human hand, and a human hand means money. Number 3 is the deep blue antique that fools almost everyone into thinking it is a cheap reproduction. Number 3, Flow Blue and Chinese export porcelain. This is the deep, dramatic blue and white china that looks genuinely antique, because it usually is. Flow Blue, made mostly from the 1840s into the early 1900s, has that unmistakable look where the cobalt blue seems to bleed softly into the white, an effect that happened right in the kiln, and collectors have chased it for generations. Individual plates run from around $40 to a few hundred, and rare pieces go higher. Even more valuable is genuine antique Chinese export porcelain, the blue and white ware made in China and shipped west centuries ago, which can sell for $1,000 to $10,000 or more for the right piece. The tell is that hand-painted cobalt blue, the soft bleeding edges of true flow blue, and, for Chinese export, the age and the hand-painted marks underneath. So if you have deep blue and white china that looks old, do not dismiss it as a modern copy. Look very closely, because the real thing is a serious antique. Number 2 is where we finally reach the pieces collectors genuinely dream about. Number 2, Royal Worcester and Spode, the early English masters. These are 2 of the oldest and most respected names in all of English porcelain, and their early pieces are the stuff of serious collections. First period Royal Worcester, made between 1751 and 1783, is especially prized, and early Worcester teapots and pieces regularly sell from around $1,500 to $8,000, depending on pattern and condition. Spode, the maker credited with perfecting English bone china, has its own devoted following and its own valuable early patterns. The tell is AG, and the backstamp tells the story, so learn the early marks, because an 18th century Worcester piece looks, to the untrained eye, almost like any other old plate. That is exactly why they still turn up mispriced. If you have inherited very old English china with these names, do not let anyone talk you out of it cheaply. But not even early Worcester is the single most valuable piece hiding in the average china cabinet. First, the mistake that can quietly wipe out a fortune in a heartbeat. Because here is how a treasure turns into nothing: condition. And collectors are merciless. A chip, a hairline crack, a web of fine cracks in the glaze called crazing, or worn, faded gilding, can cut a piece's value by more than half or kill it entirely. This is why the ping test matters so much. A dull thud instead of a clear ring means a hidden crack you cannot even see. And here is a professional trick. Shine an ultraviolet blacklight on a piece, because invisible repairs and touch-ups glow a different color than the original. Now, one honest truth, and it is the reason you have the advantage. The market for most inherited china has softened over the last 20 years, formal dining faded, and the common department store sets that once cost thousands now sell for very little. So most families assume the whole cabinet is worthless and give it all away. That is the mistake, because the money is still there, hidden in the specific makers, the rare patterns, the early marks, the serving pieces, and the sterling silver. You are learning to see exactly what they are throwing away. And with fakes and reproductions of the famous names out there, the mark, the age, and the quality are everything. Learn to read them, and you will never give away a fortune again. So here is your exact game plan. First, flip every piece over and read the backstamp and photograph any mark you cannot identify, because names like Meissen, Royal Worcester, and early Noritake are the ones that open wallets. Second, run the ping test and the light test on cups and plates, and shine a black light to catch hidden repairs. Third, check every piece of silverware for the word sterling, or the number 925, and set the real sterling aside, because it has value in the metal alone. Fourth, Hunt down the serving pieces and complete sets, because a tureen or a full service is worth dramatically more than loose plates. And fifth, before you sell anything, search the sold listings, not the asking prices, and get anything genuinely old properly appraised before you let it go. Which brings us finally to number 1. Number 1, Meissen, the name that turns a dusty cabinet into a treasure chest. Meissen, from Germany, was the very first company in Europe to crack the secret of true hard-paste porcelain 300 years ago, and it has been the gold standard ever since. Their pieces are hand-painted masterpieces, and collectors pay staggering sums for them. So, how do you know if you have one? Turn the piece over and look for the tell. 2 crossed blue swords painted underneath. Remember the mark I promised you at the start? The one worth more than a car on a plate that looks ordinary? This is it. That crossed swords mark has been used since the 1720s, making it one of the oldest trademarks in the world and one of the most valuable signatures in all of antiques. So valuable that lesser makers have copied it for centuries, which is why the flawless, genuine hand painting is what experts authenticate. And the numbers are staggering. A single Meissen dinner plate in a pattern like the famous dragon design can be listed for around $1,000. Individual 18th century pieces sell from $2,000 to $15,000, and complete antique Meissen services have crossed $100,000 at the great auction houses. $100,000 from a cabinet somebody almost donated. And I promised you a bonus, a name rarer still, Sèvres, the porcelain of French royalty. A documented 18th century Sèvres piece can sell for 6 figures, the price of a house, and most collectors will never touch one in their lives. So if you ever find crossed swords or the interlaced letters of Sèvres on the bottom of an old piece, stop and get it appraised immediately. Now go open that cabinet and that silver drawer. Turn every piece over and read what the maker is quietly telling you, because the only thing standing between you and a small fortune in your own dining room is knowing how to read the bottom of a plate. That dealer knew. The collectors already know. And now so do you. Welcome to the club.